Hey, Carl. Yo, what's up, Rich? Hey, Carl, what time is it? It's time for Travels with Carl, baby. Let's roll. Let's ride, Carl. Yo, what up, dog? Hey, welcome back to Travels with Carl, man. It's good to see you all. Missed you guys. I know I'm coming to you a day late and a dollar short once again. It's Sunday. Woo! Man, it's chilly out there, and it's fucking chilly in here. I made the big mistake of last time. Remember, it was too hot in here when I got here? Yeah, I left the windows open and turned the heater off. And it feels like it's like 40 degrees in here. Fahrenheit. Well, it's just like a whole lot of stuff going on, right? So happy to be back in episode number 35. Coconut Grove, Ritz Carlton, Miami, baby. One more time. We're still in the Sunshine State. Still down in FLA, baby. But I'm bringing it to you live from Washington, the Evergreen State. Episode 35. I really can't believe it, man. We're like 17 episodes away from 52. So if you're new to the channel, Travels with Carl is about me and Carl. This is Carl, my motorhome. He's a 31-foot Alumilite with a Chevy 454 big block engine. Vroom. Yeah, I'm going to tune that up. I need to throw some money in Carl. He's got a power steering issue and needs a whole new set of batteries and yeah, probably a tune-up and see if I can find some headers and a high-rise manifold for him. Just to full-on trick it out. It's pretty good inside, though, you know. There's our bedroom back there, and it's a full shower here off to the side. Toilet and sink and vanity in there. Refrigerator, freezer. Used to be a microwave in there. It's my propane electric combination range. Got my wee warm heater on today. Normally Carl's heated with propane when we're out on the road, but he's out of propane too right now. There's my dishwasher down below. I am going to mount that inside of a cabinet somewhere, maybe under that window over there. I'm not sure yet. But Carl didn't come with a dishwasher, but I don't travel without one, man. I'm too old to do dishes. Fuck that. Well, so anyway, it's about me and Carl and traveling, but it's mostly about my life as an artist and what I've done to, you know, survive the life of an artist. So if you're a comedian, you're a singer, a songwriter, a dancer, a musician, a magician, you know, or a painter, a sculptor, a ceramicist, author, you're into any of the arts, okay, you know how hard it is to make a living unless you got some funding behind you, you know what I'm saying? So it's about that. But every week I do another episode of one of the 52 jobs that I've had, and there are actually more than 52. And I do a painting about that job, and then I do a print, a limited edition, and an open edition of that print, which are available on my website. The open edition's available on my website, which is what? www.what? Van Gogh, VANGOGH .inc, INK, like Van Gogh Incorporated, only not INC, INK, like a printmaker, like pretty clever, right? I didn't come up with that. The guy that designed my website lived in the Dominican Republic, and I told him about Van Gogh Inc. Incorporated, and he goes, you should just get INK. And I didn't even know that, you know, I thought everything was .com, right? That guy's on top of his game. So I plug my channel, right? I plug Travels with Carl, let you know we're on episode 35, and you know how it ties into my life. It's a 1-year project, which I love. it's I am 68 right now. I started working when I was 12, so it's 56 years of working and being an artist, compressed into 1 year, and then that's going to turn into a book. So besides being 26 hours or 52 30-minute sessions of Travels with Carl, it's also going to be a book. And each episode is going to be a short story. And it's not just going to be the transcript of what I'm saying right now, because what I'm saying right now is live, right off the top of the noggin. The short stories are going to be edited and proofread and elaborated. Like, there's a lot of things that I just don't have time to talk about in a 30-minute episode, but stuff that, like, you can't mention. For example, what was last week, Palm Bay Towers, or the Palm Bay Club. You can't mention the Palm Bay Club without talking about some of the characters that were in there, like Steve Carboni, and there's a lot of other fun things that happened that I didn't have time to bring up. Well, same thing with today's episode. I'm going to give you the gist of the story, and then we're going to move on. Maybe I'll talk a little social political stuff. Maybe I'll just talk a little bit about, other things in my life that are important to me, like this book. What if changing one thing could change the world? This is that one thing. Amendment and the number 21, a dash and the letter A. Amendment 21-A. You can find this on Amazon. Go right to the book section. What if changing one thing could change the world? This is that one thing. Ending the war on drugs will be the single largest and most important change in the law in my lifetime. It will positively change the city that you live in, the country that you live in, and the world that we all live in. Sometimes when it's hard to wrap your mind around the changes this will bring about until you read this book. It's hard to, I think about all the unnecessary pain and suffering this war brought to us all. And I'm just glad I was able to end it. Just say no, stand with Van Gogh against the illegal prohibition. So there it is, right there, powered or published by Van Gogh Inc., 1995. Right there, get yourself a copy and read up on it. Every book has an introduction and 9 short stories, and then 9 paintings that I did. So you can kind of get a little glimpse of my artwork. I'm trying to find one that I haven't shown, but pretty sure I've shown them all now because, like I said, we're on episode 35 and I plugged this one. Well, okay, I plug this book every time, so. Coca, it's the real thing. This is showing a little about the manufacture and distribution of the cocaine, a very popular drug in today's market. Always has been, always will be. Okay, making drugs illegal is stupid. It's just like making alcohol illegal. We only did that for 14 years and it didn't work. It went really bad. Just like making drugs illegal. Like, only we've been dealing with the war on drugs for 100 years. So let's get right into it. So today's episode 35, is the Ritz-Carlton in Coconut Grove. Once again, I apologize. This is not a painting. This is a photograph of the hotel that I lifted from the internet. And it's a kind of a badass looking building. I love this one over here. It looks like it's twisted. I'm going to enjoy painting that. It's so funny when I see this building, because I wasn't a bellman there. I wasn't security there. I was actually hired in the banquet department, which meant I was also a dishwasher. And I was a dishwasher more than I was plating up food or banquet serving. dishwashing, and me and another dude washed all the dishes for that whole hotel. And we had some heavy duty machinery. That's probably why I have an aversion to washing dishes. No, I'm just kidding. We had some heavy duty equipment, and we did everything from fine stemware to pots and pans. And yeah, it was pretty cool. So they tried to pass me up on this hotel, and this is a little, give you a little bit of an insight into, what it feels like to be discriminated against. And like I said, I had been at the Palm Bay Club when I first landed in Miami Beach, and I found that job in the newspaper, believe it or not. So that was the year 2001. So I realized that they were getting ready to open up a Ritz-Carlton in Miami Beach, but I didn't realize that they were going to open up a Ritz-Carlton in Coconut Grove first. Now, Coconut Grove kind of is kind of famous and kind of infamous with cocaine, the early days of cocaine distribution into the United States. It all came through Miami and Miami Beach. And when I say it all came through, I mean every gram of cocaine came through Miami until they figured out other ways and started running it through Mexico. In the beginning, everything was either flown in or boated right into Miami and Miami Beach and the Florida Keys, and it made its way all over through all 49. Well, I would say I was going to exclude Alaska there and Hawaii, but it actually made its way up to Alaska as well, but probably none of it made it to Hawaii from South America. I wouldn't say none of it, because I'm sure a couple kilos got thrown onto some boats headed to, taking cars and cargo and stuff over to Hawaii. But Miami was the epicenter of cocaine distribution into the U.S. And it was it so affected that the landscape of Hawaii that some attorneys that I met told me that, you see that skyline out there? That entire Miami skyline is built from laundered cocaine money. Now, some of these attorneys that I met were actually attorneys that worked in the cocaine business previously, earlier in their life, and got out of it, right? But, getting arrested is part of any black market. A certain amount of people are going to get arrested if it's illegal, and those people are going to need an attorney, and depending on how high up they were in the food chain, how good their attorney is going to be. But back to the Coconut Grove, the Ritz-Carlton. So I went down there for an interview, and there's a couple of things that the Ritz-Carlton about the Ritz-Carlton is you have to be fluent in the language of the what is it called? Not the predominant language, but the official language. You have to be fluent in the official language of the country that the Ritz-Carlton is in, which in the United States, it's still English, even though in Miami, that's up for debate. The other little quirky thing about the Ritz-Carlton is that when they open up a new Ritz-Carlton, all previous employees from the Ritz-Carlton, as long as they left on good terms, which when I left the Ritz in Boston, I left on very good terms. And as if you've been following along, I was the assistant director of security and the assistant garage manager. But when I got there for the interview, this Spanish-speaking HR dude took a look at me and sized me up and asked me if I spoke Spanish, and then told me that there weren't any more openings. And fortunately for me, I guess you could say, fortunately for me at that time, a young lady who was Caucasian and English speaking overheard him say that, and she goes, "Let me talk to you for a second." She called me over there, and she goes, did I overhear you say you were the former security director for the Ritz in Boston? I go, "Yeah, that's right." I go, "That dude wasn't even gonna give me an opportunity, was he?" She goes, "No, that's not right." And she goes, "I'm going to deal with him later. I'll talk to the HR director." Now, the woman that was working with me, she wasn't an HR director, but when they get ready to staff a hotel, they're getting ready to hire about 500 people. So they'll have like maybe 10 people out there pulling people out of the line, looking at their applications, and then marking the ones that, like people like me, like I get first dibs, right? Because I was a former Ritz-Carlton employee. I moved right up to the top of the line. And this son of a bitch was going to try and kick me out just because I didn't speak Spanish and I looked like an old white dude. So, I got to say to him today is, fuck you, bro. You're on Travels with Carl now. But, that's part of my story, man, is there's good shit and there's bad, fucked up shit that happens along the way. But I got hired. They slid me into the banquet department because I had pretty much experience at almost everything, and I wasn't opposed to doing something new. I would have rather been a doorman or a bellman, and there was still a bell position open, which I tried to get later on once I got my foot in the door, because I knew this was dicey and I wasn't sure how many people there were that weren't going to give me a chance. So I accepted the job, and it paid good hourly. Plus I got tips when I did banquets. But yeah, it's kind of funny to look at the hotel, because I don't know if I ever even saw any of the room. Oh no, I did. I stand corrected. I did see the rooms on the very tour, the first introduction, the onboarding orientation. We did a tour of the hotel. I looked at some of the rooms, but that was it. The rest of the time, man, I was down in the basement busting out some suds, doing some dishes, and back of the house of the restaurant. So I did get to eat really good. Banquet food is really good. It's prepared by the same chefs that do the banquets, or that serve in the restaurants. We had some really good restaurants there. We had a steakhouse that was just killer. And anyway, but that was a serious upgrade for me from the Palm Bay Club, because the Palm Bay Club, it's just a knockoff, just a one-off kind of place. Although it did have a lot of fun celebrities and everything, it was good to be back in the Ritz-Carlton, and I knew that I was going to have other opportunities, or I thought I was going to have other opportunities that were going to come from the Ritz. Turns out that was the last Ritz-Carlton that I ever worked for, and will ever work for. But hopefully I'll be staying there occasionally, although I prefer the Four Seasons. I got to be honest with you, because I can go in just like this, wearing whatever I want to wear. Anyway, let's see what else I want to talk about today. That's pretty much it. I don't really have that much to say. It was a good gig, but didn't meet anybody famous there. Well, that's not true. The other guy that I washed dishes with, although he wasn't famous, but he knew OJ, and he used to golf with OJ before OJ was famous. And he gave me a little insight, or actually, I guess he golfed with OJ after he was famous, because he gave me a little insight into the whole OJ Simpson murder of his wife and everything. And he told me that Ron Goldman was a cocaine dealer for the Stars, and at the time Nicole was doing an astronomical amount of cocaine, which really bothered OJ, probably partly because of the money, but mostly just because she was just coked out all the time. Now, this is according to my coworker, okay? but he golfed with OJ, so, I'm just saying, pretty much straight from the horse's mouth. And my friend wasn't a lawyer or a cop, so pretty sure OJ trusted him enough to tell him the truth. But anyway, my buddy told me that OJ didn't kill Nicole or Goodman. Is that right? Goodman? Whatever. Yeah, I think that was right. Goldman, whatever the dude's name is that was with Nicole when she got killed. My friend told me that she was buying coke from him, and OJ had them both hit. So there is that. But other than that, it's pretty much just washing dishes down there and serving some banquets up. And I did really like the chef. He was really cool, and he always fed me really well. And again, I just loved Coconut Grove. It's a really cool place, and I like Coral Gables. I like everywhere I lived in Florida. Key West was my favorite, but everywhere I lived, and we haven't gotten there yet. I know, I'm not telling you what I did down there, but they all have Florida has some good things, some good things I can say about it. It's really hot, it's really humid, it's buggy, it's got poisonous snakes, and it has a fucking mean-spirited hurricane season, okay? I mean, that was a bitch. That's what finally drove me out. I can tell you that. I can skip ahead a little once in a while, right? If I want to. It's my channel. Damn it. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to stand up for my rights here. So what do we got going on out in the political world? Well, plenty. Too much. We're still in Iran. Now, since the last time I spoke with you, this crazy motherfucker has now threatened to commit genocide and just wipe out the entire country of Iran and all of the people living in it at the same time. That's a war crime. In fact, that's a big war crime. And, threats do mean things, because if you're going to get tried at The Hague, they don't just look at what you did, they look at your intention. So even if he didn't wipe out the entire civilization by 8 o'clock, he threatened to do that. And that's fucked up, man, because a lot of fucking beautiful Iranian people, man. I love Iranians. I want to make sure everybody knows that. But I hate me a Trumpster. That Trump has got to fucking go. So stay with me. Vote for the blue wave that's coming, man. It's going to be an 80-foot Nazare curling into the beach, man. It's going to be the big blue wave. And we got to get rid of Trump. We got rid of Bondi and Nome so far. I see Cash Patello's next. Oh, Cashy, it's time for him to check out, baby. That guy is not even fit to be a fucking security guard, let alone the head of the FBI. You gotta be fucking kidding me. So we got a lot of housekeeping. Get rid of Hegseth. What? Gonna get rid of him next. And man, SNL is just tearing him up. Colin Jost, way to go, my brother. Fucking roasting Pete Kegsbreath. Yeah, so right now I'm getting ready to send a package over to Joanna Coles at the Daily Beast. Gonna send her some of my artwork and a copy of this book. I'm gonna try and get on the Daily Beast, man. I love the Daily Beast. I love Travels with Kristen. That's a real travel channel there. And Farmer for Fun. My old buddy Joseph and Andre over in Portugal, who I bought my farm from. How about Mercedes Blanchet? Have you seen her comedy, man? God, I love that girl. She's just crushing it. If you haven't seen it yet, check out some of her jokes. I don't think she would mind if I do this one, because it's like a little running inside joke. Anyway, what's a buffalo say when he drops his kid off at school? Bye, son. Isn't that fucking brilliant? She writes all her own work, all of her own stuff too. Not hard to look at too. She's pretty easy on the eyes. Shout out to Mercedes. Hope she's watching. Anyway, yeah. So got to get out of Iran. We got the midterms coming up. Got a lot of good people coming up to take back over the House and the Senate. We'll be impeaching some people after that happens, and some people will be going to prison for rape and murder and mistreating women. Some people will be doing some time before this is all over. I just love to see me some justice right about now, because, you know, the Epstein thing has been going on for so long, but the good news is that it kind of exposed like how many really depraved fucking men there are around in the world, and I mean it's embarrassing to be a man when you see that what's out there. I mean, I'm a good man, but it just brings shame to the male species. I mean, we're not the sharpest tool in the shed, but most men are good men. But the cabal of the billionaire, of the Trump-Epstein class, the Trump-Epstein generation, there's some fucked up individuals in there. And it only takes a couple thousand fucked up human beings to really fuck up the whole, you know, batch of pudding. You know what I mean? So we're working on that. Got some people getting ready to do some time, and some people getting ready to do some testifying. I think that's all I got for today. You know, like I said, feels good to be back over here in Carl, man. Honestly, I only get to Carl like once a week now when I'm over here. The winter here is long and it's wet. And I've been busy, you know. I've just been really just burning the candle at both ends, as they say. And but spring is here. It's official. I got grass growing in my backyard. All my cherry trees are blooming. Rhododendrons will be blooming in about, I would say, I'll give them a month. Don't worry. I'll be shooting them, and I'll be shooting this in the backyard when they start flowering. It's a sight to see. My backyard I've got 5 giant rhododendron trees, and they're like 25, 30 feet tall. I mean, they're big. And they have so many flowers on them, it looks like they're going to tip over. So they're beautiful. And I can't take credit for it. Well, I can take a little credit because I trim everything up, but I've only owned it for a year. The people that owned it before me did all the landscaping. I imagine, I mean, it's from the 70s, so, excuse me, my house is like 50 years old, and I think like most of the stuff they planted in the backyard, I've got a golden plum tree back there, and a pear tree. I planted the 3 cherry trees. I got 5 rhododendrons and lots of other small trees and plants, and got a couple of pine trees. Yeah, it's good. I'm really glad it, you know, when spring and summer finally roll around here, man, it just changes everybody's spirit. I'm getting my motorcycle out too, and you know what? It's gonna be time to ride. Let's ride, baby. Let's ride.
Surrounded by the beast, the birds and the breeze, his motor home in the woods where creativity sees. spirits of the woods, he dances in delight, creating masterpieces every single